Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Your Space Breathe. Um, I have my compadre here who has decided to, well, who agreed to participate in the Q&A. Quick little interview, man. Thank you.
Thank you, compa. My name is Juan. I've been, this is my best friend, compa Abraham. And we've been doing a couple of videos here and there, some podcasts, things that kind of motivate us. We like to talk about motivational stuff, get people, motivated. I struggle personally with anxiety, with really bad anxiety. And that's something that me and Abraham we kind of talked about sometimes. That's actually how we kind of connected. He gives me a lot of good advice. So hopefully this conversation, this interview, is gonna help someone. Um, it's gonna motivate someone and make them feel that they're not the only ones, and that it is okay to go through this. It's normal. It's not a bad thing.
It's not your typical way to connect with someone.
It's not.
When
Yeah,
when
yeah,
when a man can connect on something that we're going through, we
right.
can relate to. I remember when we first met
Hmm.
that we decided to go out. I had to let you know what I was going through in order for you to be like, man, I'm going through the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that to me was like, okay, there's something here,
Hmm.
right? I feel
Yeah.
like going back to generations and generations, compa, like we weren't taught
Well,
to.
it's not because when you open up, you kind of risk yourself. You don't know this person. Why am I gonna put myself in that situation, right, where they know something about me? It's not something I'm proud of. You're taught not to really show any weaknesses, right? But it's something I didn't talk about it with anyone before. But it's in your mind a lot, right? So if when you open up, that was like my permission to open up too. And it's something that once you get real, once you open up with someone, that's when the friendship really has the chance to start, right? Because most conversations are pretty surface level.
Yeah,
How you doing? Oh, I'm doing great.
we only see the good. We only see the
Yeah.
good, their wins,
Uh-huh.
but we don't talk about the losses, right? Our
Right.
struggles.
Like the
And
real stuff inside.
I gotta admit, guys, like this guy's been there for me, like even
uh,
in my toughest times, man. So I'd like to thank you for it.
oh, thank
I mean,
you.
there's a few more out there who have been there, but in such a short period of time, compa, like you've taught me what it is to put a trust in a friend,
Oh,
right?
thanks, man.
Um, Back in the day, you had acquaintances, you had homies out in the street, um, where we grew up, but it wasn't the same because
Hmm.
we were all kind of lost in the game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We were there for a good time. That was it.
yeah.
But it takes a lot to be able to open up to someone when they're really going through their
Hmm.
highs, their lows.
Yeah.
Um, and thanks, man.
Oh, thank
Thanks.
you. Oh, thank
So
you.
so
Yeah,
compa,
yeah,
I know you got some questions for me.
yeah. So
Um,
I got some questions ready. So the whole goal is to just get to know Abraham a little better. He asked me to put some stuff together, some questions, and really these questions are things that I've kind of thought about before. They might be a little tough, but they're gonna be good.
oh man, and just to let you guys know, man, I'm a little nervous, bro.
Me too.
I'm a little nervous because we didn't prep for this. I told you not to tell me
Yeah.
or let me know what the questions were.
Oh, no, you said you didn't want to know, but I said no.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was like, no, I'm not gonna say it to you. And
So
then you were like, okay, great, don't say it.
I'm ready, man. I want people to know why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I started Your Space Breathe, why it is that I stand with those dealing with mental health. And when I say mental health, I mean See, you people throw the word mental health and they
Hmm.
necessarily, well, they automatically think, hey, something bad,
Yeah.
right? There's good mental health practices, right?
Yeah.
But when I say mental health, I mean people who are going through anxiety and depression,
Specifically, yeah.
specifically. So for those that don't struggle with it, man, kudos to you. Um, it's good. I don't wish this on anybody, but for those who are really struggling with it, just know you're not alone. So
Hmm.
come on, man.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that because that's one of my questions. Actually, my first question is, okay, so tell me more about what makes you want to be so open about your life. You've been sharing a lot on social media. You had, a few, well, actually, a lot of episodes, right, on like podcasts. But what makes you want to be so open about your life, your past, and current experiences with mental health? Why?
Well, my biggest inspiration was my mother, compa.
Okay.
Um, I witnessed it all, right, firsthand. What depression and anxiety was. Um, for a long time, I was quiet
Hmm.
to a point where then I started suffering anxiety, anxiety attacks. I should say I was only 11 years old. But see, what people don't understand is that anxiety doesn't mean a panic attack sometimes.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can't sleep.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can't eat. And as a kid, you don't understand what's happening,
Right.
right? You just have crying outbursts and you don't even know why. And I'm like, huh, what's going on? Not until I was able to see a doctor, they advised my mom that I should go and see a therapist.
Okay. Let me ask a question there, and that way we kind of stay focused. W- When you were a kid, when's your first memory of feeling like crap, feeling depressed or anxiety? That back then you didn't know what it was, but now you're like, you know what? That's when it started. And what was it? How'd you feel?
Scared, fear.
Fear. And how did that feel? In your body, how did that feel?
It was a, you couldn't close your eyes.
Okay.
As a kid, I closed my eyes and it was as if someone just walked up on you in a dark room and scared you every
Oh.
little while.
When you
You'd
close your eyes.
I'd close my eyes and I'd open them and my heart would be racing instantly.
What were you thinking? What was the fear?
To be honest with you, it was a blank space.
Oh.
Nothing about it. I wasn't thinking anything. It was just fear.
Hmm.
That was it.
Like a
Yeah,
feeling.
it's a gut feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like I'd close my eyes and boom, I'd wake up and it was,
Yeah.
what's going
Panic.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as a kid, you couldn't tell anybody. I remember there was moments, man, and this was I. So I was raised a Christian,
Hmm.
right? I went to church all my life till I can remember. Not until I was about the age of 15 did we stop,
Yeah.
right? I'll tell you this: I was having panic attacks even during church service.
Really.
To where if I look back at it now, I remember my mom walking me outside of church while I was crying.
Really.
And everybody was like, ¿Qué tiene? ¿Qué tiene? And he was like, no sé, no sé. And
Mm.
everybody was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right? What's happening here? Um, and yeah, man, now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I was really going through it.
Yeah. At 11.
At 11, man. That's when it
Yeah.
started. And obviously it started because of what I was seeing.
Hmm. And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll get into what you were seeing, like what kind of triggered it. But that's kind of tough to hear. Actually, it's yeah, it makes me sad to know that you were going through that when you were a kid. Because you were a kid. I was 11. I mean, you're not a teenager yet.
I mean, at 11 years old, compa, like
Yeah.
you should be having fun.
Yeah, you should be out there on the
You
streets.
know, you should
Well,
be out
nowadays
there
on your
playing
phone.
ball. We didn't have phones then.
Yeah.
You know, we had Nintendos. We had things. I couldn't do it, man.
No.
I wasn't able to enjoy what any other kid would enjoy.
Do you remember why you were crying about? Like what would make you so sad or so, was it a fear of, you know, things going bad or
You know, man. Now that I think about these memories,
uh-huh.
there is a con to having a big heart, man. Right? As a kid, you're born with
Hmm.
very big heart.
Yeah.
You empathize with everyone and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I think that was my downfall, and I think that's one of my biggest um, weaknesses. I would say, in my
Hmm.
opinion,
Yeah.
it's having such a great big heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Because for a long time I was seeing my mother in the worst place of her life, and as a kid, at the age of 6 years old,
Hmm.
having to take so many things in from the loss of my dad, and knowing that you had to become a man
Hmm.
at such a small age was life changing.
So tell me, since you mentioned your dad and you talked about it before, um, I know he was sick, right? So tell us a little bit about your dad, how he got sick, how old were you?
Well, from what I know and the stories that I'm told, he was already sick. So he migrated to this country when I was. So, FYI, I was born south of the border in Mexico City.
Hmm.
Um, and I was brought here at a very young age.
Yeah.
When my father decided to bring my mother and I, um, my mom wasn't aware that he was already diagnosed with a terminal disease,
Yeah.
right? He he decided to bring us here. I was only 2 years old.
Cool.
I was only two,
Yeah.
and my mom had no idea he was sick. Not about until a year into being in the States
Hmm.
did she realize she was about to go through the most
Yeah.
um, memorable experience, life changing experience she was ever going to face. I mean, I was growing up, um, and just a heads up, my father died from a disease, um, a pulmonary disease, which is pulmonary fibrosis, which in this case, your lungs just stop working. So I'll tell you this, man. Back in the day, we were on newspapers, press telegram.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. Sorry to bring this up, but I know I was. Oh man, take a minute, man. This is definitely not easy stuff. Yeah.
we were on press telegram. The news was in and out of our apartment. Growing up as a kid, man, to have your single, which we'd call it, which
Hmm.
is a studio, what they name it nowadays,
Just single, yeah.
um, was a hospice,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The bed that we had that we shared, they had removed it because they had brought in all the equipment that my father needed to stay alive,
Like all the hospital
to be
stuff.
comfortable for whatever time it was he had left.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was one room,
One room, kitchen, restroom.
and this is for you and your brother, sister, your
My
mom.
mom, my brother, my sister, and myself.
Uh-huh.
My father, who was in his bed, but we're talking about half of that place was taken over by oxygen tanks, um,
The machines.
the machines.
Yeah.
To tell you that my lullaby, I would say, was the beeping sound of his heart,
Oh, dude.
right?
Yes,
So
that
it's like
hits.
you're 5, 6, and that's what you're falling asleep to. I mean, it's a no-brainer, um, why it is that I'm going through what
Can
I'm going
affect you.
through,
Hmm.
right? And my mom didn't have anybody else to send us to,
Right.
right? As a parent, you think about it like, I'll do anything, whatever it takes to protect my kid from
Yeah.
seeing this. But we didn't have that,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we went through it
And you don't really have any memories with your
with my
dad,
father.
like.
Yeah, I as believe it or not, man, I have a lot of memories growing up with him.
Uh-huh.
If I told you earlier, I grew up in the Christian setting.
Hmm.
My father used to preach in the streets of Long Beach,
Oh,
and
really?
we used
Okay.
to follow him everywhere.
Hmm.
I mean, we have old VHS tapes of my father preaching out in the street, man, while swarms of people would come and listen,
Oh, really?
right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there just looking at him like, I'm not sure what you're doing,
Uh-huh.
but whatever it is, you have people listening.
Hmm.
So, not too much my mother and why I'm doing what I'm doing, but knowing that my father wasn't embarrassed to speak up,
Hmm.
I'm doing the same,
Yeah.
right? So, I have a lot of memories with him, man,
Hmm.
but they're a lot more bad than they are good,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Seeing my mother have to walk him from not even 5 feet, man, from his bed
Hmm.
to the restroom, he'd be out of breath,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So it's like you look at your mother and she's in fear,
Hmm.
worried, and you look at your father and he's looking at you like this is it.
Yeah. So you have a lot of visuals
I have a lot of visuals
of those moments.
of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. There's really nothing else like it, man. It's there's this quote that well, there's part of a lyrics that Drake said, and I'm gonna quote him on it.
Hmm.
He said that it's a song that I relate to a lot because he says that he touched down in '86, which was the year I was born, and he knew he was a man by the age of 6.
Hmm.
So to me, that hit because I was like, dude, I at 6 years old, maybe not knowingly,
Hmm.
I was already a man.
And what things did you have to do when you were 6 that maybe other people like us, we would be like, oh man, that.
I had to listen to all my mom's struggles, and I felt
Oh.
hopeless because being an immigrant in the
Hmm.
country, she didn't have any resources,
No one to talk
no
to.
one to talk to, the fear of, oh, I'm by myself, to mention that the doctors would even tell my mom, social workers, that it was best that she go back to her country
Hmm.
because there was going to be no help for her and her kids here.
Yeah. So she would kind of rely on you for emotional support.
Believe it or not, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, yeah. Because she would tell me, she would talk to me, she would tell me how scared she was, she would tell me how worried she was. I was only 6. And
Yeah.
I applaud her for that. That's good,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But the thing is, now I'm dealing with it.
Hmm.
Now I'm dealing with the consequences
Yeah.
that in that moment, I mean, for a long time I was upset,
Hmm.
but I don't blame her anymore
Yeah.
because now I have a voice. We all do,
Hmm.
but we have this platform. We have ways to talk about things, and I'm not afraid of it anymore, man.
What have you done? Because I know you're on a path of healing, which is great. This is actually part of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, what does that path look like for you? So how do you move away from what you experience and hear yourself? And how is this helping?
Honestly, when you say the path to healing, yeah, it's something that I just recently started, as you know,
Hmm.
for a long time, therapy or um, medicine, which I've been on medication for many years, man,
Yeah.
many years, and people wouldn't probably know, right?
No.
I walk
Yeah.
around like everything is fine and dandy,
Hmm.
but it's like it's something that I'm dealing with. So my healing journey just started
Hmm.
a few months back. Um, Now, do I have a clear picture of what this is going to do for me to heal?
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, man. I feel like I'm walking blindfolded
Okay.
because I don't. People say to express how you feel and talk about how you feel.
Yeah.
Don't hold it in, and that's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
But do I know what's gonna happen? Do I know if my healing journey will ever end? Maybe this is a never-ending healing journey, right?
Right.
But I do it openly because I don't feel like I should be holding anything in anymore.
Right.
And neither should anybody else.
Mhm.
If you're not okay, you're not okay. And don't let nobody tell you that they don't believe in mental health. Don't let nobody make you feel like you're crazy or you're weak. Because to deal with this, man,
Mhm.
you got to have some balls.
Yeah. Yeah, be brave. Yeah.
You got to be very brave. And people who don't understand it will sit there and say they have a different opinion on it.
Mhm.
And hey, like I said earlier before when we started, kudos to you, man. And
Yeah.
I'm happy
Right. Right.
that you're not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Because people who deal with it, man, only know.
Yeah. It seems like you knew my questions because that was that was one of them. So in the by experience and anxiety, depression, mine to me mine is a little bit more genetic. So I think I was born with it, and then some things that happened in my life kind of triggered it, right? But what do you think? Do you think is in your case is it genetic?
I mean, it could be.
Okay.
My mom went through a tough time,
Hmm.
you know. Maybe it was already written. Maybe me doing this was already written,
Yeah.
right?
Could be a
It's my
mix.
purpose.
Hmm.
It was the purpose. Like God gave me this life
Yeah.
to help others.
Yeah.
Not only help myself, but to help others who are in the back, just silenced
Hmm.
in fear of
Right.
not knowing what they're feeling.
Right. Right.
So is it genetics? Possibly.
Mhm.
My mom was dealing with this way before.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
And then your message to those people who say, you're just bored, you have to think positive, it's really just all in your head.
That's the thing.
Yeah, what do you say to those people?
When you're dealing with depression,
Uh-huh.
no matter how much people tell you or how many times people tell you, you got to think positive,
Yeah.
you can't.
Right, right.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right.
Nobody can tell you, oh, you're going to be all right. Yeah. A simple, you're going to be all right might help
Hmm.
a 0.001,
Right.
but this is a battle you got to go through on your own.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to fix it.
Right, right.
No, in my opinion, therapy helps, but it's not going to fix it.
Hmm.
It's not. This
Same.
is something you versus you.
Yep.
I feel that that's where that quote comes from.
Hmm.
That quote is strongly for people who are dealing with depression and anxiety. It's you
Right.
versus you,
Yep.
right? You could be motivated all you want, but people talk about motivation, motivation,
Hmm.
motivation, but you could have all the motivation, but without the discipline and that motivation, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
For us, man, I'll tell you this, guys. If you know anybody going through it, depression, anxiety, a simple "you're gonna be all right" or "this too shall pass" is much better than trying to understand them.
Hmm.
Because no matter what you do, it's not gonna help them. This is something that we have to face on our own.
Yeah. I heard something. I forget where it was. It was probably TikTok, but I heard that I don't really want you to tell me how to fix it. I don't really need you to tell me I'm gonna feel better. I want someone to be there for me when I feel like shit. And that's true sometimes, you open up to someone and they're like, well, what you should do is this. And I do that too, I throw my 2 cents. But then when someone's like feeling like this, they just want someone to make them feel like, like I'll be there for you. Let's I know you're feeling like this. It's okay. It's not a bad thing to feel like this. You're normal. You have feelings. Let's go watch a game, and maybe that'll help you. Just being there for them. But what would you tell someone who's maybe struggling with depression and they don't know what to do? It's not so much like what others think, or they just need help. Well, and they can't get it because they don't have insurance, they don't have someone, like a psychologist or anything.
Well, one, there's a lot of resources now that'll help, right?
Uh-huh.
Mental health isn't what it was back in the 80s or 90s, growing up, early 2000s.
Right.
I feel that doctors didn't even know what to do with it, in
There was
my
there
opinion.
was a stigma too.
Yeah, it was just, oh, crazy,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Let me give you a cough suppressant,
Right.
which in this case, it's like what would we call it? Like,
Well, right now they give you like Xanax,
yeah, like something
or
to just calm you
just
down,
to,
put a
yeah.
band-aid over it,
Right.
right? But what would I tell someone? Straight up, man, coming from me, a grown ass man,
Hmm.
I would say just cry.
Yeah. Just
Let
let
it
it
out.
out.
Let it out.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your body just telling you something's wrong,
Hmm.
right? Just cry.
Right.
Cry. And look, man, I've been on medication for many years. For a long time, I was like, I'm not gonna take it.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it. And no matter how much I fought, bro, no matter how much I fought, I looked at smoking weed thinking that
yeah.
was gonna help me, and it was only making it worse,
Right.
right? So I was like, I'm just gonna go to the doctor.
Right.
And luckily, man, I thank God every day I was prescribed something that honestly was tough at first.
Yeah.
The first 2, 3 weeks of taking it was
You
probably the
feel off.
roughest.
Yeah.
It was rough, but it helped me,
Hmm.
right? It helped me. And when I say it helped me, I don't just say it went away. Like, no, I still have it,
Yeah.
but I'm able to control it. I've adapted to it. Like,
Hmm.
I know when it's coming. There's days where I wake up and I'm sad. Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
There's days when I wake up and I'm happy as fuck.
Right.
There's days that I wake up and I want to fucking cry my heart out and shit,
Oh yeah.
but it's okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's all part of it, man. I rather feel like that
Right.
than worry about leaving my door
Hmm.
because I'm about to get a panic attack no matter where I'm at.
Yep.
I was afraid to walk out my door.
Yep.
I was a forklift driver and my toes would be like this, man, of how tense I was. By the time the shift was done,
Yeah.
my legs, my feet were hurting as if I worked out all day just
Yeah.
from flexing the toes and how tense I was.
And I've had those panic attacks, right? So I know what it feels like. But a lot of people have it. A lot of people say, well, panic attack. Yeah, right. They don't even believe it. So
Yeah.
how does that feel? Like, when does it kick in when you have a panic attack? What are you feeling?
So a lot of people have different symptoms, but my symptom is it's like I don't know when it's coming,
Hmm.
right? I could be chilling, hanging out, having a conversation, and out of nowhere, it's just you feel like you just finished the marathon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You feel your heart in your neck,
Yeah.
how hard it's pumping,
Yeah.
how fast it's going, right? Your arms, your legs, your fingers start getting numb.
Right.
It's like a tingling sensation.
And it's a fear.
Yeah, at that moment, it's
Oh,
fear.
fear, right? Okay.
And the best thing you can do is just control your breathing.
Yeah.
Even though it feels like you can't breathe
Yeah. Yeah.
or you're not getting enough air, best believe you are.
Yeah.
I've been in a hospital where they check you while you're having a panic attack
Yeah.
and your oxygen levels are at 99.9%.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
Yeah.
you're breathing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just your body telling you something's wrong.
Hmm.
Just let it out.
And when it happens to me, it feels, well. It used to happen before, not so much anymore. But it happen. It feels like you are in a different dimension almost. Like whatever you're seeing is not really what's happening. For instance, I used to get them. I started to get them when I used to. I'd be driving down the freeway, and I used to think like, oh, I'm gonna get in a crash. Like I'm gonna some. I have a feeling that I'm about to die, and it will kick in, and I will see the freeway sort of. My mind was just not okay to drive, and the freeway will kind of like change, even like, you know the way it's positioned. So I had to pull over, and like wait it out, you know, just be okay again, and then go back to drive. That's when I started getting them, and it was, afterwards, you like, yeah, it's all in your head, but it's very real when it's happening. Your body is reacting as if you're about to die. Um, and what causes it, that we can talk about it later. But
Yeah, I mean, if you
uh
get into the science of it, I mean, there's a chemical imbalance, right?
hmm
I've done my research on anxiety and depression, and medication we take helps with that,
yeah,
right? You don't get them as often, but just know that when you do, you just gotta ride it out.
yeah, yeah,
There's really, for people who, and real quick, I'm just gonna
yeah,
add
yeah.
this:
Go for
we
it.
don't give credit to the people who are there living or writing it out with those people who are dealing with depression and
Mhm.
anxiety. The people who are right there just watching the whole thing, we don't give enough credit to them. So I applaud everyone who's been dealing with someone with anxiety and depression, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And for those people, just let them be.
Mhm.
Don't try to hug them, don't try to hold them. In that moment,
Mhm.
it's nothing personal. They just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, no matter what you do, their panic attack is their panic attack,
Right.
right? Anxiety is a lot different than panic attacks.
Mhm.
Anxiety can just be a quick jittery leg,
Right.
biting your nails,
Right. Just being uncomfortable.
being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes, always wanting to do something.
Right.
Maybe it's a rest day and you're out there cleaning.
Mhm.
You're like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna clean my house.
Because just not, you don't feel okay. You don't feel like you can rest.
Yeah, I've talked to people who've dealt with anxiety, and they say, I have to be doing something in
Mhm.
order for me to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of us, man.
Mhm.
A lot of us in today's world, we have to be doing
Right.
something in order to be okay.
Right.
How many of us can actually say, I'm going to stay home and rest today?
Yeah.
Not too many, man.
Mhm.
I feel like we're like, oh, yeah, I'm off today. Oh, but I did this, I did this. Hey, sit down.
Mhm.
You know how
Yeah.
many times I hear that? Like, sit down,
Just relax. Yeah.
relax.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I am relaxed.
Yeah. This is me
Yeah,
relaxing.
but this, and
Yeah.
in my world, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm in heaven right now. I'm
Yeah.
floating, right? I'm like, dude, please don't kill my vibe,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, man. I mean, let's learn how to tell the difference.
Let me go to my next question. Um, so I kind of want to go back to the time, just about your dad, because I think that was, we talked a lot about, your experience with your mom, and after your dad passed away. But when tell me a little bit when he passed away. And sorry that I'm touching, this subject again. So let me know if it's
No, we're
too
good, man.
sensitive.
No,
But
we're good.
so he started, since you remember, since you were little, he was sick, right?
You sick?
So your whole life he was sick.
Yeah,
He got worse as he
yeah.
got
As time
older.
went by, yeah.
And how old were you when he passed away?
I was only 6.
You were 6. Okay. So it really, so those first 6 years of your
It
life
marked me, man.
marked, yeah.
It marked me.
Oh, wow.
It marked me. Those 6 years of his life. I wouldn't
Mhm.
even say mine, man.
Yeah.
Of his life that he
hmm
shared with me, it marked me, man.
And then he passed away, went to a better place. How do your life change?
From the moment that my mom couldn't take me up to his casket to say the final goodbye,
Mhm.
one of our brothers and sisters from the church that we used to go to walked me over because she thought it was okay to do so, which I understand. As a
Mhm.
parent, you try to protect your kids, right?
Yeah,
But by this point, the protecting was gone, man.
yeah,
I was exposed to everything, raw,
yeah, yeah.
uncensored, right? So it was like I felt that that sister did the important thing, which was for me to be able to walk up and see my dad in his casket at 6 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe not understanding, right? Because in my head, I was like, man, he's asleep. Like,
Okay.
when is he going to wake up?
Yeah.
Right? But just remembering that she said, here, give him this flower,
hmm
right? And tell him that God bless him,
hmm
and to rest easy,
Yeah.
right? So as a kid, you're like, Okay, I'm just telling them good night, right? Because according to my parents, well, according to my mom and my uncles, and I say parents because my uncles were like my parents,
Hmm.
they said that for a long time after his death, I would wake up crying,
Hmm.
right? And nobody understood why.
Yeah.
And I think about it now, and it's like, why was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. I mean, that was.
Did that help though when you said your goodbye?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so because if not, I would have probably had that question in my head, like, why didn't
Yeah.
I get to see him?
Yeah.
Right?
When he was like his actual passing, were you there?
No. So when he was already in a very critical state, they weren't allowing kids into the room
Oh,
anymore.
okay. Okay.
So we were home. My mom got the call early hours of the morning
Mm.
that she needed to head over to the hospital because they believed that that was it.
Yeah.
Right? So we stayed there. Not until I'll tell you this, man. From when my mom left, that we
Hmm.
woke up, it was probably the only time during the whole time I can remember where I was able to be a kid.
Hmm.
Because for some reason, I felt like the apartment complex where we were living knew
Hmm.
that something was wrong
Yeah.
and that they needed to be there for us as kids as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I remember every kid in that community coming out and we were playing in the apartment complex like we have never played before.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
We were out there playing, man. For a minute, I had even forgotten that my mom was gone,
Yeah.
right? It was like we're playing.
Hmm.
Not until that afternoon that they said my mom was home that I walked in and there was a whole bunch of people over that I seen her crying
Yeah.
was when she told me straight up. Most people don't do that nowadays, or if they do, they find ways to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in a better place.
Right.
Oh, he has passed away. Oh, your daddy's in heaven now,
Right. Right.
right? Which is a form of protecting as a parent. But with me, my mom wasn't protecting me from nothing.
Yeah.
She said, your dad died. Simple as
Mm.
that.
And she told just you or all
Well,
the guys?
everybody already knew,
Okay.
but I walked in and she told me your dad died. So I remember
Uh-huh.
my cousins being with me, and I was like, what? And I walked out, man. I walked out of the apartment building, I mean, out of my apartment,
Hmm.
and went into they had these little stairs that went up to the second floor.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there and I was like, looking at my cousins. And one of my cousins, Rocio, shout out Rocio, she was
Hmm.
crying. And I was like, huh. And I looked at her and I was like, my dad died? And she was like crying and she's like, are you okay? Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
It just didn't.
It didn't sink in.
Yeah.
It didn't sink in. It was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No sé. And I remember telling her, no sé.
Uh-huh.
And I remember everybody crying and crying and crying. And I was like, what the heck is happening?
Oh man.
Right? Because in
Yeah.
my eyes, I was like, the last time I seen my pops, he was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not until I seen him in his casket was when I realized that, okay, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna see him again.
Oh,
You know?
that's
Yeah,
heavy. Yeah.
when he goes in 6 feet
Hmm.
under, man, and you're a kid and you're walking away from the
Yeah.
last image you have, it's when you realize, like, bro, I can close my eyes, compa.
You
I
can
can
see
close
it.
my eyes and I can see it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
And from that point, what was your life like? After your dad passed away.
man. As a kid, you don't understand life at that age. Dude, I can tell you, man. I understood life like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Seeing my mom struggle, bro. She couldn't pay her rent.
Hmm.
Not to mention the services, bro, were not what they cost now. But obviously,
Hmm.
back in the day, it was a penny, bro. It was a
Yeah.
hefty penny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was gonna run you a couple $1,000s. So we had press telegram.
Hmm.
We had people from the hospitals. I don't know, man. I thank them for it.
Yeah.
I thank them for it. I don't know if at that moment they just felt sorry for us,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I mean that's how I take it
Yeah.
sometimes. Um, but they decided to tell my mom that they were gonna donate all the services
Hmm.
for my father.
That's good.
Right? I guess the people at the hospital fell in love with my dad.
All right.
Right? Regardless of his sickness, he was out there just making his presence felt.
What was it? So we talked about all the painful stuff. What was for the people watching? Like, what was your dad like? If we didn't get the pleasure to know him, but how would you describe him?
My dad was about integrity, man, like any father should
Hmm.
be. To him, was about doing the right thing. You know, sometimes doing the right thing doesn't mean doing the right thing.
Hmm.
It's about doing what's right,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So be like, oh, I did the right thing. No, but did you do what's right?
Hmm.
And there's a difference. And I remember my dad would always talk to me or want to spend the 5-10 minutes that he had with me and my brother. Because by
Yeah.
that time my brother was born. He was a baby,
Oh wow.
right? He was months.
Yeah.
So those moments were like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, man. The only thing that stays with me till this day,
Uh-huh.
and I never shared this with anybody, man. This is
Hmm.
something that not even my mother and my siblings know.
Yeah.
Um, my dad had the nicest writing, bro.
Really.
Right? Like
Hmm.
his penmanship
Uh-huh.
was
Perfect.
A1.
Really.
And as a kid, you look at it and you're like, man, you write nice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think I think,
You
man,
have it too.
I have it too.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen you how you
So
write.
yeah, so my writing is,
Yeah. You got it from there, from
yeah,
him.
I feel that that's a gift that I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
given, because I remember even in school be like, man, you write like a girl,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or hey, your writing is so nice. Like, can you write? Till this day, man,
yeah.
till this day, even the wife is like, can you write the name on the greeting card?
Okay.
Can you write the name on this birthday present?
Yeah,
Can you write it? Because you have much nicer writing.
I know. I know now because mine is like, even if I go slow, it's like it's horrible, man.
And I know to a lot of people, man, that might not be a lot, but to me, man,
yeah,
every time I write,
yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
it takes me back.
So it's like you feel like that was your dad. Like
Yeah,
you remember
yeah,
your
like
dad.
that's
Yeah,
my pops.
yeah,
Because I mean, if I can tell you what was a good thing about it, man, I like I said, there's a lot more bad
hmm,
than there is good. So
yeah,
there's not too much I can tell you, bro, besides the waking up choking,
yeah,
I can't breathe,
yeah, yeah,
um, the machine going off, or every other twice a week we would get oxygen tanks delivered to our home.
yeah,
And I remember the and you know what, man, I'm glad
hmm,
you brought this up.
yeah,
I don't know what happened to this guy. We used to call him Kid.
hmm,
If for some reason it ever gets out there, man, in Long Beach, just call him Kid. He would take me and my siblings out to the truck where the oxygen tanks were at, and he would help us play with the he would play with us on the
oh
ride,
yeah, yeah.
just to give us something else to see.
The little thing that goes up
Yeah,
and
it goes
down.
up and
Uh
down,
huh.
and be like, look, you push here, you push there, and we'd be sitting there like it was a low rider, right?
Yeah.
And we'd be playing, bro. And for those 5 minutes,
Yeah.
10 minutes,
You were happy.
I was free.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I was free, man.
Yeah.
It was the little things, right?
Yeah.
You didn't need to take me anywhere to the park, etc. It was just those five, ten
Yeah.
minutes of the time he invested in us to
Hmm.
just give us that smile are marked in my mind forever.
Yeah. Um. Now, your brother and sister. Do you guys talk about those days with your family or?
Ooh. No, man. Unfortunately, we don't.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we don't. Um, we're not. I love them to death,
Hmm.
but the truth of the matter is, we're not close.
Okay.
I mean, people would say I'm MIA,
Hmm.
but I feel that it's the other way around.
Yeah. So, do you think? What do you think caused that separation?
I feel they haven't decided to start healing yet,
Okay.
and that's the truth. You guys are hearing me. You guys haven't taken that step to want to heal from it,
Yeah.
right? You guys are living in the past. I mean, if you guys are mad at me, I've told you guys many times before, I'm sorry. I mean, what else can I say, right? Do I miss you guys? Yeah. Is it okay that I see you guys maybe twice a year? Hell nah. I see everybody else in social media, um, families around the neighborhood, compas,
Mm-hmm.
like their families are bonded for life, man. No matter what, good or bad. Like we went through fucking hell, and yet we're sitting there avoiding each other. Why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? Why are you mad? Like, why don't you take the time to just reach out and say, hey, I'm gonna come over and hang out with you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say it like this, and you guys know this damn well, and I'm sorry that I'm putting you guys on the spot. Bro, I'm the only one that reaches out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one who picks up the phone and calls them just to make sure they're okay,
Yeah.
right? They have never, para que tú digas, ellos tomaron el tiempo de hablarme y decirme, hey, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
It never happens.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, I might be the oldest, but that doesn't mean I'm okay.
Right. Right.
Like, fuck, as an older brother, you need your siblings.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I need you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, when I'm sad, when I'm going through some tough times, like a simple, like, what's up, bro?
Mm-hmm.
I brought some food over. You good?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is that?
So there's definitely a lot of pain
Oh,
of
for sure.
for that separation.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Because
And
it's been over 10 years, bro.
mm-hmm.
Maybe more. 12, 13 years that we've spent a holiday together as
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
We haven't been in the same house in a long time.
And you guys were close when you were little, right?
Oh, me and my brother and my sister, we were close, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we would party together.
Yeah.
We would
Yeah.
have the same group of mutual friends,
Yeah.
right? We went through hunger together,
Mm-hmm.
right? Growing up,
Yeah.
we were. If I was hungry, we were all hungry.
Right.
You know, so it's like, how could I say it, man? I'm gonna tell you guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are mad at me for whatever reason it might be, just know that people change.
Mm-hmm.
I made some mistakes in life, like any of us will or any of us have. But don't be mad at me anymore. Make the time to come and spend some time with your big bro. And maybe, yeah, maybe I should be making time to come and spend time with you guys. But it's like the holidays come, nah, we're busy.
Mm-hmm.
Birthdays come, oh, you're invited to come. Okay. Oh, happy birthday. Come on, man. Like, we're fucking family. Like, we are all we have left.
And have you guys sat down and like talked about stuff like straight up?
Nah, I don't think they're ready for that. I'm ready
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Yeah.
If they want to call me out on my shit, I'm ready. I'm ready, man, because that's
Yeah.
all part of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I made mistakes and I acknowledge them. I
Right.
embrace them. It was my fault. Made some big mistakes in life, but I'm here now.
And and sorry for this question, compa, because I don't really know all the details, so I'm just throwing questions. Have you, if you believe there was something that you did on your part that started or contributed to the distance, are you ready to say your apologies?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
I've sent heartfelt messages. I've sent,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I,
And, oh, sorry.
I miss them, man.
Yeah.
I miss them. If they're mad at me for the mistakes I've done in the past,
Mm-hmm.
then come forward. Let me apologize to you.
But there's also some you need some apologizing on their side for
Oh,
some things.
I'm sure. I'm sure they
Okay.
know. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it would be good to hear an apology from them too.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we got the same blood running through our veins.
Yeah.
And if you're not okay, I'm gonna be there.
And do you think they miss you too?
I don't know. They don't show it, right? I expressed it clearly.
Yeah,
I've told them in messages that I miss them and I love them.
that's good. Compa. Well, all you can do, I mean, at the end, like I said, I don't know each side, right? I just and I don't ask a lot of questions. Um, so I'm not I just want you guys to be a family again. I know how much you hurt, and it hurts me to see you like that. I know you love your family a lot, like nobody else in this world. I hope that one day things get better between you guys, because life is too short. I
Oh, for
mean,
sure.
we're out like this,
For
so
sure.
I hope that sooner or later you guys sit down, just all three of you guys, just let it all out, just you, nobody else, and hopefully something will come out of it.
I hope
But
so too, man.
I feel like they also miss you, and I mean sister, she's a really sweet lady. I know she cares about you, um, but I know it's a lot more, you know. That you guys just need to
Yeah, so just so
talk
you
it
guys
out.
know, my sister has suffered from depression and anxiety, and my brother has suffered from anxiety. So we've
Hmm.
all been through it. Um, but man, wouldn't it be good to see all of us in here
Hmm.
chopping it up,
Yeah,
having a conversation, you
yep.
know,
The good old days.
remembering the bad
Yeah,
and healing from it,
yeah.
right? Um, they know I love them to death, man.
And that's a good thing. You guys care about each other, right?
Wait, yeah, yeah,
So,
I'm sure. I'm sure they do somewhere in there.
uh-huh.
They just gotta stop letting their ego get in the way
Yeah.
and just saying like, it's time to heal.
Why do? Because I know it's a lot of pride. Even though I know you do the right thing. But I know sometimes you have a pride that stops you from, sometimes maybe um, how can I explain it? I'm not. This is not a criticism. It's a normal thing, right?
Yeah,
So there's a little bit of a pride that's protecting you. You're protecting yourself from something. Why do you think you have it, and then it seems like they might have it too, and that pride is like stopping you from moving forward.
I think for a long time, a lot of the pride was the relationships that we were in,
Hmm.
right? And I feel that maybe
Hmm.
the relationships are in the way.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you mean by that?
I can speak for mine. Ain't nothing in the way. I have a very supportive wife
Uh-huh.
who supports everything when it comes to the healing process.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like, and not to throw shots, this is just what I see. Um, maybe their significant others doesn't want them to come
Hmm.
or want them to hang out with their own family
Yeah.
because that's just what it seems like.
Hmm.
I'm not that far.
Yeah.
I'm not that far. I'm in the South Orange County,
Hmm.
and even then, like we're close.
Yeah.
So I strongly feel that maybe it's the relationships they're in,
Hmm.
and if not, like I said, I just feel like they're not ready to heal.
Yeah. Well, I really hope you guys, for real, that things get better between you guys. Um, 'Cause I want to see you happy, compa. I really do.
Oh,
Hmm.
trust. And guys, just real quick, when he says he wants to see me happy, it doesn't mean I'm not happy now, right? I'm going through a healing phase, which I have my days where I'm just rock bottom,
Hmm.
right?
It is like a piece you're missing, though. It
Oh,
is
for
like
sure.
something you're missing.
For sure,
Yeah.
man. I have everything I need. I was never given love, man.
Hmm.
I was never given love as a kid.
Yeah.
It was like we're dealing with a sick pops, and then I'm dealing with my own bullshit,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't learn love until I met the wife and kids that she has now
Yeah.
because they gave me love.
Yeah.
They showed me how it was to say, hey, I love you.
Hmm.
I didn't know how to say, hey, I love you.
Yep.
I didn't even know how to tell my own kids, like, hey, man, I fucking love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you have a person who comes into my life and says, I love you.
Hmm.
A kid who doesn't have the same blood running through his body as mine and can tell me I love you, who is quick to jump for me.
And they call you dad.
And they call me dad.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like all this was meant to be because now I'm able to fucking express the love I feel for everybody. To be able to go to my mom's house now and
Hmm.
give my mom a kiss or hug my uncles and tell them that they matter, that I fucking love them.
Right.
Like, this shit doesn't happen from one day to another, bro. Like, this
Hmm.
was taught to me.
Hmm.
And I learned it, unfortunately, too late.
That's true. And since you mentioned that, So I always see you. You know, you have 6 kids, right?
Hmm.
You have a big family. They love you so much. I have a small family. You know, I'm so thankful for mine and so proud of my family. But I see you, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had 6 kids. I want a big family. So I see a lot of blessings that you have. You've been very blessed in your life. You what motivates you to keep moving forward? So in like the last portion of this interview, talk about your future. What do you see your future like? What's your motivation? What do you want to do with this whole mental health thing that you're doing? Um, just kind of moving to the
So
future.
for a long time, I was telling myself like, I want to get out of the neighborhood,
Hmm.
right? I need to leave the ghetto, and maybe I didn't express it right
Yeah.
because the ghetto made me,
Hmm.
right? The struggle made me.
You brought the ghetto.
I brought the ghetto here. You feel me? So it's like maybe I didn't express it correctly, but
Yeah, yeah.
if you ask me what my goal is with all of this, I
Mm.
just don't want my kids to grow up with this bullshit.
Mhm. What bullshit?
I don't want them to be silenced.
Yeah.
I want their mental health to be A1. I want
Hmm.
them to feel great, look great, most importantly, feel good about themselves.
Yep.
I want my kids to say, my pops was vocal.
Hmm.
I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, my dad never said nothing. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
My uncles were always quiet. They put their big boy pants on and they were quiet about it. I'm going to tell you one thing, man.
Hmm.
Enough of that shit.
Yeah.
Our pops, all these people that you idolize about having their big boy pants on, man, they're hurting inside.
That's old school
They're
stuff.
hurting.
Yeah.
That old school, it needs to stop now. Like, I want
Yeah.
my kids to say, you know what? My fucking pop spoke up.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm very vocal about how I feel, what I want, and my opinion on things. That's my goal.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. It's not too much because I want to fucking die rich,
Yeah.
right? I'm already rich.
Yeah.
I got 6 beautiful kids, man, and a lovely wife who are very supportive of everything I do.
Hmm.
And everything I'm doing right now is rubbing off on them. Remember, you can give them as much advice as you want, but they're only going to follow what you show them by example.
Right.
You
Your
can tell
actions.
them,
Yeah.
do this, but they'll do this. And if you hold yourself up here and you're fucking up,
Hmm.
best believe that no matter how many times you're telling them to do the right thing, they're going to do the bad thing.
Yep. But one thing I tell you, you have great kids.
Oh, man, they're great.
Yeah. That you definitely whatever you're doing it right. So um,
They're
a-
good kids, man.
and you're right. They will do as you do, not do as you say.
Yeah,
So if you're messing up, that's probably what they're gonna do.
oh, for sure.
They see you working a lot on your business, on your self improvement, on your mental health. Um, so I think they're very lucky to have you, um, and have you raise them. But I don't see any of them dealing with anxiety, depression. Have you seen any of that with them?
I mean, as a kid, man, it's kind of hard to tell.
Hmm.
But what one thing I can tell you is that they've been very good about speaking up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the time does come, and in today's world, man, we're all exposed to anxiety and
Hmm.
depression. The way life is and the way people are in today's world, we're all
Yeah.
inches away from falling into the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'll be ready.
Hmm.
I'll know exactly what to tell them
Right.
and how to help them. So that brings up another. If you're a parent and you have kids who are going through anxiety and depression, like, get help for them.
Hmm.
Get help.
Yeah.
And make it comfortable for them to talk with you.
Yeah.
That's the thing with my kids. My kids can sit here and we can have a conversation about how they feel. No questions asked. I'm sad. I'm happy. This worries me. This doesn't, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm very open with my children, and you should do the same. Because I feel, in my opinion, unless it's genetic, anxiety and depression starts as a kid.
Hmm.
That's where it starts. So I'll end this question that you mentioned with this. It said, and I quote, "What is the biggest mistake you've done as a parent?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I sat there and I was like, hmm. I was like, yeah, it's obvious not remembering your own childhood.
Mm.
And a lot
Yeah.
of us as parents are doing the same things we were brought up on.
Right.
So, what is the biggest mistake as a parent? Is that we don't remember our own childhood. Now, if you had a
Uh-huh.
great childhood, hey, I fucking
Yeah.
applaud you. Your parents did a good job. That is great, right? But for those who didn't, use that as motivation to give your kids the opposite. And it doesn't mean give them everything you didn't have.
Oh yeah.
It's give them the love you didn't get,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's my biggest advice I can give you.
That's a good one, compa.
Yeah.
My mind's going a little bit all over the place right now. I was thinking, we're saying about depression, right? So there's a lot of stigmas around it. If your kid comes to you and says, I don't feel great, most parents are not equipped, to say the right thing. It's hard to get help. Because I've been through it where, you're like, okay, what do I do, right? Should I go to a psychologist? And then you talk to someone and they're like, oh, you're not crazy. Well, what are you gonna go to the shrink? And you're like, well, that's true, right? Medicine, oh, you take medication. So there's a lot of stigma around it. But at the end of the day, I think as long as you have someone that, like he said, is not judgmental, someone who's gonna listen to you and someone who's gonna be there for you, just that alone makes you feel better. It could be your family, it could be a friend, it could be your aunt. If you think about it, like the priest, sometimes it's that person that you can talk to. Um, but just reach out to someone,
Yeah.
and that's at least is a good start.
Always a good start, man. Doing something rather than nothing is
Hmm.
always a good start.
And when they talk about like why are you depressed, right? I'm always is that's a hard question to answer.
Because there is no answer to it, man.
Yeah, it's a feeling. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm not thinking negatively. Negative. I'm not. I fixed a lot of my bad habits, but the feeling's still there. And the way that I put it, you guys, is that we're not humans. We're not designed to be in a house, in front of a computer all day, in a car, stuck on the freeway, on the phone. For thousands of years, humans have been on this world, out there in nature, talking to other people, right, dealing with the elements, and it's only been the last 200 years, most of it in the last 100 years, that we have electricity, television, cars, factories. So we're just not designed to live the way we live. We're pretty adaptable, but I think there's still consequences. We're not designed to eat the food we eat. um, Pretty much 80-90% of the things we do on a daily basis has been new to humanity, right? um, so it kind of makes you wonder, how is that affecting our mental health, right? I know that when I spend too much time on social media, I don't feel great.
Or it messes with you, man.
Oh, it does,
It
right.
really does.
Well,
It
we know
messes with
because
you.
we're
Yeah.
doing those videos.
It messes with you, man.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm singing those stupid TikTok songs in my head.
It can do some damage, man.
Yeah. So anyway, what has helped me a little bit is, I think about it. Okay, how did we live back in the 1800s, 1700s, right? We ate natural food, right? So I try to stick to natural food, not processed. We used to do a lot of physical activities. So I tried as much as possible to do those activities, and that helps me. I try to socialize as much as possible with people who make me feel good. Not people who tell me good things, just people who you
And
buy.
not and real quick,
Uh-huh.
not people who are gonna talk about others, but people who are
Yeah,
gonna talk ideas, people who are gonna talk great things,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That helps.
Except that one person we talk now. But no, but yeah. So people who that because it makes you feel good when someone's talking crap about other people, that doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, it does.
but if someone's like, just you feel the vibe, right?
Oh yeah.
So that helps me. But when you're feeling like really really down, yeah, you have to tell your wife, your friend, someone, and that helps. So okay, compa, I think that was
I
good
think we're
enough.
gonna I think we're gonna wrap it up real
Yeah,
quick, guys. I appreciate everyone who's gonna take the time to watch it. Stay tuned for the next one. Please share it, comment, share. I think it's very important that we normalize us men being able to be vocal and vulnerable, even when it feels like it's the wrong thing to do. Right?
yeah, or even when it just feels like you're putting yourself in a bad spot when you're opening up so much, and someone might not use it the right way. Just think about the people who will use it the right way, who need to hear this, um, who will make who you will make feel not so alone. They're not the only ones going through this.
Oh yeah.
That's how, again, that's how we started a friendship. He opened up, and I was like, hey, maybe I can talk to him about it. Um, and it became a real friendship.
Oh, best believe even just a simple phone call or start off with "How you feeling, compa?"
Mhm.
And it'd be like, "Oh man, I've been dealing with this for the last couple of days." Like this is not your simple conversations a normal friendship has,
No, yeah.
right? So being able to focus on what their mental health is like first,
Hmm.
then we can talk the good,
Yeah,
right? But we know and we're very aware that we're both at times having a very rough week.
right. But sometimes for no reason. You
and
just,
and there's nothing. Be
yeah,
like, compa, you got this.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like, compa, what are you worried about? Yeah, we remind each other of the good, but just know that with depression,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much.